Well, I just killed it, but it looks like it's been dead for 10 years. Hi, I'm miltonchang of Bonsaiheirloom. So today I work on this Prostrata Juniper, which is very popular for landscaping in Orange County, California. There are several points I want to make by using this bonsai as an example. First of all, it came from the hedge of a neighbor. What he had is like about 6 of these plants in a strip in front of his house. He wanted to put in some roses or some decorative plants. So he wanted to throw it out, and I said, well, why don't I keep it? And so I got about 5 or 6 of these, and this is actually the only one that's maybe one of the two that survived. Because in those days, I believe, to keep your trees on the dry side, and they, in fact, when I got busy, they died. And this tree, in fact, did not survive very well. I'll show you later on. This side nearly all died with only one little twig leaving left. And I was going to chop off this side, but then decided to save it and then let this part grow. You see how much it grown? That I will be able to use it as part of the design to make it a double trunk. So that's another point, is that give it time, you will have much more design options to let it grow out first. Water your plants thoroughly. You can get bonsai material everywhere. From your neighbor's yard, they are throwing things away. From landscaping nurseries, from your own garden, from digging up trees, anywhere people want to throw out their trees. So with that in mind, then, I would work on this tree. And one other thing I think I should share with you is that if you let it grow, I didn't clip it for maybe a couple years. You can see it's growing fairly rapidly with my soil mix and with my fertilizer routine. You will be able to create pads much faster, especially with the juniper. So with that in mind, then, let me just clip away. It's a double trunk, but that is the main tree because this is a very sparse one, and whereas that one is quite full. So let me work on this side first. And you usually begin with the apex first. And one of the problems is that you wind up making the tree taller and taller. And so ideally, I think most people would do is that, most old timer would do is that use this to wire it up, which I think maybe I should do that as well. So this branch is like this, but if you wire it up, then that becomes the apex. And then you let it grow out to decide which way the apex goes. So what I would do is, in fact, do a little bit of wiring. I double up the wire, I anchor in the back, I split the two into two sides, and then one is used to pull this one up for the apex, and then the other one is to pull the side down to create the bottom side branch. So that speed up the method. So wiring is useful compared to the clip and grow method to speed up the design towards the finishing stage, in the sense of the refinement stage, because you need to take drastic cut using the clip and grow method to be drastic in the design. But then to fill it out, you do need a lot of wiring and all that to speed up the. So this, you see, very quickly becomes almost a pad, not quite, but if I do a little bit of a pinching, it will become a nice pad very quickly. And then these are kind of a little bit on the wrong angle. In a sense, you want this to be down a little bit. So, instead of wiring, I use a lesser, more skinny wire to anchor it down. You're not likely to eat into in a sense, grow into girding the tree, because it's just sitting on top. The growth would push the wire away, so to speak. Like, I can do quite drastic angle-wise, change it by using the anchor wire. So please don't accuse me of being too brutal cutting back on my tree. It's in the early stage, I must do that. I have no choice. Otherwise, I'll never get to the form I want. But now I can be a little bit lenient to create the shape. So like in this case, I talk about the poodling. Like, this is obviously out of the range, but it could be on the side. So, and this, the poodling I talk about to create the path quickly. You pull off the bottom needles, and you kind of poodle the top. That's my handy dandy clipper, which you will ship out with every tree free. So this is really poodling, but you can see I created the path very quickly. I wind it around, doesn't matter, this is a dead branch. then next time I will have a long wire to use rather than clip it short and I have to throw it away. You try to economize as well. So you can see this part's already looking pretty nice, like a finished bonsai with the pad. If I pinch it a little bit to refine tune it. Now this one is a little bit problematic because this one is up on top and then this one here. Now frankly, I don't need this because that hole is covered by this branch. So I'll make this into a jin. I'll cut it all off. And when it's wet, it's very easy to peel, so I'll peel it. You can see when the branch I just cut off the green part earlier. It's very, very easy to peel. And when you peel it, the jin will become quite white instead of the brown from the sap. And so this will be a nice little, very visible jin. Well, I just killed it, but it looks like it's been dead for 10 years, and that's the whole idea about creating the sense of age. And in fact, I like to break it to make it look more natural. I'm just using conventional tools. I think bonsai tools tend to be a little bit expensive. I don't know why I need to stick to that just because the word bonsai. But hand tools are generally quite inexpensive if you just got to use the right tool. I got all kinds of tools laying around. Okay, so that's that branch. Now I can use this branch to fill this hole. And then this one to fill this hole. The pads are not very good this way, but I just wanted to fill out the form of the pad. And then when it's nice and ready before a show, I can come in and remove all the redundant growth under the pads to retain the look of the pad, but with all the branch going out in the right direction. So like this branch should go this way a little bit. So in fact, I can anchor it on this step branch. So it's all very forgiving, no big deal. Just do your thing, implement in a simple, easy way. Why not, instead of all the rules that you have to follow, just do your thing. There are many ways to skin a cat, just get there by anchoring wire or wiring or everything. I mean, there's nothing wrong with wiring. It's a technique you should employ. Why not? Like this, it's going way too far. I should end it about here. I'm not worrying about where the branches come from to fill the pad because it's poodling, but it really doesn't matter. This branch is a little bit contrived because it's going this way and then all of a sudden go this way. So I don't know what to do with it. I can certainly make this into a jin, entire thing into a jin. That would be actually pretty interesting. But if I don't want to do that, let me keep the option open for a little bit by making this branch coming this way and go this way and do a little bit of bending. Not sure I can do that. So let me just do this and let it grow out to see what my options are. Let nature tell me what to do next. And then this one, I think I need to fill this hole a little bit more, which I think is actually this branch. So it's a little short, but let me make this into a jin. So this branch will come this way. So for example, this one really doesn't look right yet, but hopefully this will fill out to fill this hole. So I think this is okay. And I can probably lower these a little bit. But again, it's okay. I can come back and refine it later. Now, this is way too long. I don't know why. But again, I just let it alone for a couple of years, and that's what I get. So this branch is already dead. And I think it's kind of hard to peel now. So I just leave it alone. Someday I can take an electric tool and the hand tool to clean that up. So This got a nice branch below, but just to keep a little bit of green up here, I would do that and let this grow out and let nature tell me what will happen, and then have this branch here. So now the lower branches, of course this is coming this way, there's no reason for that. So I'll cut it off here. So maybe this will grow into a little pad. And here's a little pad. I think this is kind of a weird angle. Do I need it here? I think this will be, that will give it this a little bit of a nice rime. Yeah, in fact, I will cut it here. I advocate not to use wire too frequently, and that's because A, it's time consuming, B, is you may forget about taking the wire off. So I remind you one more time, don't leave the wire more than a couple months. There really is no need. The branch will be well placed in place. It may bounce back a little bit, but that's okay, and nothing is that specific. That's what I'll do for sure. In a month or two, I will remove most of the wire, and I use kind of a shiny wire so that I don't have to worry about removing the wire. Now, for example, this branch, this is kind of a nice flow, and then you want a little bit shorter here. So you can do this. This will fill out to be a little pad. Okay, it doesn't look like a pad now, but it will. And then this will be a pad going the other direction, and that gives you the nice flow. You know, I think that it's really got to have the flow to give you the sense of motion, of growth and vitality and freedom of movement. So that's another pad. It's very rudimentary pad, but it will fill out. You see how much it grew in a couple years. You know, look at that. I didn't take any time to make the pad. Now this is really kind of tricky. I got this branch to worry about not to bump into that. And I'll tell you more about this branch. It's really interesting. And I think this is an extrapolation. I think I will make this into a jin. Just to be on the safe side, I would keep this as a branch and make this into a jin. But on the other hand, this looks like it could be an interesting turn. So I would make the jin here. Oh, I contradicted myself. Okay, good thing this side is still intact. So what I'll do is I will let this grow. This will be a very interesting feature. One side is dead and one side is growing, and keep this side alive, even though I was almost wound up killing this whole branch. It's okay. You cannot make mistakes. Just nature would take care of itself by self-correcting. Yeah, I really believe that. That makes your tree more versatile instead of every tree looks alike, and more natural looking, because your eyes are trained by nature to see what nature looks like. And so your bonsai will be conforming to nature, which is, I think, is the goal. It's a good thing. This tree is going to have this side of the branch dead. Someday it will be a nice feature. People look at it and don't realize it's actually connected on this side. They will say, oh, this branch looks dead. How come this side is green? So this will be my pad. And then this will be my pad. Again, this will come out this way and that won't go that way. So I make it this way. And then this one, I think I need a little angle. So I'll turn this way. And I'll wire it next time. Okay, there's a branch going this way. That's good. This branch is doing a little turn, which just doesn't make any sense. So it gets cut off. So you're modifying nature, what nature did, when it doesn't make much sense based on your logic that's also trained by nature. It's okay. I think I'm going overboard on emphasizing the nature aspect. I think bonsai should really reflect what the nature would have done. And that's the mastery, I think. It's not the craftsmanship to conform to a certain design, force nature into a tree into a natural certain design. Okay, now this part is really interesting to talk about. When I tried to salvage this tree probably 7 years ago, this was a branch no bigger than this. This entire branch was dead. And I only had that little piece growing someplace here. And I decided to just leave it alone. Look at that. In 5 years or so, it grew that much, which is logical. You know, you can do it by a little cutting that's 1 gallon. 1 gallon tree will be at least this size. You know, it means maybe 3 years, growing 3 years or so. So now what do? I think this tree, this branch does not make sense because this tree is coming out this way, but this branch and these branches make sense. So in fact, I should cut this branch really short to make it into a jin. You know, I think this is the last branch because it's going that way. Or this should be the last branch. No, that's a branch. So that should be the branch instead of this one. But just to be on the conservative side, I will end this branch here and make this into a jin. I mean, why would a tree coming out this way and all of a sudden do this? I guess you could, but that's kind of a really abrupt turn. You see, it's so easy to peel when it's still green. I think this is actually a really interesting branch. So let me just kill this one too. I think, let me see. Yeah, I think so. And this little one will be the apex. It'll be growing up from here. So this is going to be a little tricky. Right now, this is kind of long, but I think this would be a right angle. This particular little branch coming out this way to fill this hole would be a good thing. So I'll make this the apex and encourage the growth of this one. Cut off the adjacent branches and let it grow out someday. You have a double trunk with this branch coming up, and then this the apex, and this a side branch. Unfortunately, that side branch is going a little too far, so maybe what I'll do is I'll wire a little bit to pull it this way, and then let this one grow out to go to the side. Look at how beautiful the rootage is. And just because I dug it up and let it alone and cut off the crossover roots when I dug it. So you want to adjust the roots early, but look at this tree. It actually looks good in this angle too. You can see the depth. And actually this is not a bad angle because you can see the good, beautiful rootage. So the tree is actually pretty good looking all around. In fact, I think this could be a very interesting different front, because you can see this is a prominent one, and then this is the backdrop with another one coming out, give you the tremendous amount of depth. Although a more tame front would be this front, less spectacular, but safe. Again, you want to be spectacular to be challenging, to be different. You know, you try to work on the challenging trees, and gradually you see the possibility. Gradually, you don't see it all at once. And you keep working on it. That's how you get magnificent tree. In fact, the messier, the worst case tree may in fact turn out to be the most spectacular one because you expect the unexpected, right? I hope you like my video. Click like. That's my brownie points, my encouragement, and I like it. Hope you learned something from my experimentation, my trial and error. And together as a bonsai heirloom community, we learn and grow better bonsai. Subscribe to our channel, tell a friend, write us with your email address so we can send you an announcement on the product availability, which will be very limited in the beginning. Thank you very much. See you next week.